What's up, guys? Welcome to Knockers on the Bottom. I'm your host, Jay Mill. Jay Mill, if you like. So let's get into it. I'm a little bit late. I apologize. Normally, I do this episode on Fridays when I have some predictions for the game, as well as who to watch and winners to pick. But it's been a busy week, so a little light on the episodes this week. We'll be back to normal next week. But just wanted to, extend that out there for you guys. So let's start with some predictions for the game as far as, and kind of tie that into who to watch. So I think the Cowboys defense will actually have a pretty good game against the Steelers offense. I think they match up well against some of the things that the Steelers do. And also with some of the weaknesses that the Steelers have, with all the injuries that they're going through, they actually have about as many injuries as the Cowboys at this point on both sides of the ball. So I think that's going to benefit the Cowboys having some of their younger guys like Marshawn Nealon and KJ Henry playing some snaps. I actually, at first, I thought maybe he might be inactive for a couple of weeks and then come in and play. But he may actually be active for this game. That's not 100%, but there is a chance. And then you'll have Carl Lawson up as well, who's a veteran. You'll have Chauncey Golston. So, as I touched on earlier in the week, I think the Cowboys' defense will have some success as far as stopping the run. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are super persistent with the running game, even if it's not yielding 6, 7, 8, 9 yards per attempt. They'll still be persistent with it because they believe it'll pay off either later on in the game, but probably more importantly for them, later on in the season as they start to gain some continuity with it, as their offensive line starts to come back from injury and are able to get some of their run fits correct and make some plays in the running game. It'll drive more confidence for them. So it's not only going to be something that's persistent for them now, but that's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers style of football for the entire season. The game does look to have some pretty bad weather coming through. As of right now, the chance for the thunderstorms has calmed down a little bit. But there still is about a 50 to 60% chance of rain, which means you're going to get some wet balls out there. So I think that'll also help the Cowboys defense as far as being able to force turnovers. Dak's pretty good throwing a wet ball. I've never seen CeeDee Lamb have any issues catching a wet ball. So it'll be up to the ancillary characters at this point. Your Jalen Tolberts, your Jake Fergusons, your Schoolmakers. Maybe John Stevens will be up since Brandon Cooks is going to be out with a knee. Maybe you'll get a little bit more Flournoy running some routes out there. So we'll get to see how some of those ancillary characters come into play because they're going to be the ones that the game really hinges on. So I'm excited to see Ryan Flournoy out there on offense. He's one of my favorite players from the preseason. He looked really good. I know they slow played it, bringing him along. But just like these things happen, injuries happen, and now you're thrust into it, and you get a chance to prove yourself. So I think he'll have a pretty good game. If I had to predict, I would say 3 catches for 43 yards, no touchdowns. And I think he'll actually be pretty important in the Cowboys' run game as well. He is not a small guy. He's 6'3", over 200 pounds, so he's a well-built wide receiver. And I know we were talking about some of the problems after the last game, having Brandon Cooks run some of those routes into the teeth of the defense and having him fight and muscle through like he's a big, strong receiver when really he's supposed to be on the move, run away from the coverage. Flournoy has the speed to run away from the coverage. He's actually almost as fast as Brandon Cooks, but he also has the size and strength to run into the teeth of the defense and make tough contested catches and rip the ball away, put people in the turf, and continue on the move. So really excited to see this player. Hopefully this is the first step in many for the Dallas Cowboys and him. Another player that I'm excited to take a look at this weekend is DeMarvion Overshown. I know Justin Fields likes to take off and run. Although this year he is doing less unscripted runs, so he's doing less of that. I don't trust what I'm seeing. I'm going to pull it down and I'm going to go. And most of the time in the passing game, he's actually going through his progressions and getting the ball out, more than he has in years past. So showing a little bit of growth there as a quarterback. But the Steelers do still use him in the same way that the Baltimore Ravens use Lamar Jackson. So you will see some design runs by Justin Fields, and we all know how dynamic he is, and when he gets into the open field, he's trouble. So that'll be interesting to see how DeMarvion Overshown counters that, because he's one of our best guys as far as knifing through what the offense has set up and bringing the ball carrier down to the ground. He's a very sure tackler. He's got some thump when he gets there. He's got good vision, good instincts. So excited to see how he plays. Also excited to see if Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator, uses him in some pressure packages to get some pressure on the quarterback in those 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s. Now the Cowboys have to play the run defense in order to get the Steelers into those situations, in order to use Overshown like that. But I think they will. I actually think they will do an okay job of stopping the run, or at least holding Pittsburgh to a respectable number, because I expect the Steelers to run the ball, 30 times this game, maybe 35, between Najee Harris, Justin Fields, and then they got this young guy from Harvard as well, who will probably be up and taking some carries out of the backfield. So let's get to score and what I think will happen. So I do think, like I said, the Cowboys will be able to have some success against the Steelers offense. But unfortunately, I also think the Steelers defense is going to have a lot of success against the Cowboys offense. And with the rain playing a factor, if this game is, I'll give you 2 scores. If this game is the rainy game, like it looked like it was going to be earlier in the week, I know some of that has calmed down a little bit, but there's still a pretty significant chance for rain. Maybe it'll be light rain. But if it's a rainy game, I really see this being like a 16-13, really low scoring, tough battle between the Cowboys and Steelers, with the Steelers eventually pulling it out. If the weather is not as bad, then I could see this being more of a 20-16 game in favor of the Steelers. So I think either way, I do believe the Steelers are going to come out on top. I think Justin Fields will have a couple of those back-breaking first down runs that'll, kind of kill the Cowboys a little bit. I do think T.J. Watt off the edge is going to cause a lot of problems for Terrence Steele, or if he's lined up over Tyler Guyton, I think it's going to cause problems for him too. So until the Cowboys show me something a little bit different, I think this is a bad matchup for both teams. But I think the Steelers just have a little bit more dynamic plays from, I know it's hard to say this, from their quarterback. It's not saying Dak's bad, but Justin Fields has an added element that Dak Prescott doesn't have, which is his legs. If Dak had the smarts he has and the ability to read the defense that he has, and then you added Justin Fields' legs, I think the Cowboys win this game in a runaway. But then again, I think the Cowboys would be a completely different team this season, if you had both elements. Maybe you look like Jaden Daniels over there in Washington. Can't believe I'm saying that. But all in all, I think the Cowboys lose a close game this week. Hard fought, but I do think their defense plays well. But I think it's just going to be a little bit too much with that Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Even missing some of the pieces that they're missing in Highsmith, there's still Minka Fitzpatrick there. There's still Porter, and I do think CeeDee Lamb can take advantage of Porter. I think that's actually where our points will come from. I do think Jake Ferguson can take advantage of Patrick Queen. I do think some points might come from that as well. But all in all, same issues that have plagued the Cowboys all year, which is stalling in the red zone, not being able to score in the second half. Kind of feel like that still rears its head this week. And I don't think that's something the Cowboys get fixed till after the bye, until they get some time to sit down and figure out what the heck is going on. But thank you guys for tuning in. That's all I got for you. You can follow me on Twitter at JMillerIYL. That's JMiller if you like. You can also hit me up via email, knockersonthebottom@outlook.com. Again, that's knockersonthebottom@outlook.com. You can also hit me up at knockersonthebottom@gmail.com. So either way, you can leave comments below if there's something you want me to cover. If there's any questions that you have, I'll take them there. I'll take them Twitter. I'll take them email. Put them together, mailbag format, make it a regular segment. But thank you guys for tuning in. Love you guys. Until next time, this has been your host, J Miller if you like. Knockers on the Bottom. Peace.